All right, ladies, I am back for week 2. I am excited. I'm filming at night. So before, as you can see, we got new recessed lighting put in. So before I couldn't film at night because it would be too dark. Now I can. So everybody else went to see some drive-through Christmas lights, and I'm gonna try to bang out 3 weeks of filming right now. Okay, so luckily, like I said, we covered a lot in week 1 as far as specific forms of very common things that we use in a lot of our exercises. So I'm hoping that I won't have to go in depth as much in this week and the following weeks. So we are on Monday the 9th. We have upper body, 5, 6, or 7 rounds, alternating bicep curls, bent over rows, W curls, reverse flies, and part 2 is shoulder taps, 4 reps. Alternating bicep curls. Bent over rows. W curls. And reverse flies. Part 2, we have shoulder taps, 4 reps. Okay, part 1, alternating bicep curls. So you'll notice that the rep number, the number in front of the exercise, is high because we are doing alternating. So we're doing left and right side at the same time. I feel like this is crooked. I don't know if that's any better. Okay. So our bicep curl, alternating. So that means we're only doing one side at a time. So it's gonna look like this from the side. Okay, so some people start like this in the front with their palm already up. I was just taught to always start at my side and rotate up and rotate down. I think the point of that is it hits more parts of your bicep muscle, more area of the muscle than if you're already starting like this. So that's how my dad taught me a long time ago. That's how I've always done it. So I start by my side, I rotate up, rotate down, up, and down. Okay, so when you do your bicep curl, you want to make sure that you're strictly just using your biceps. So you don't want to be doing this with your body. You don't want to be doing this with your arms. Everything should be nice and controlled except that curl motion, okay? So come up, squeeze, release. Now you want to make sure that your release is nice and slow. So if you are using a too light of weight, that might be hard because it's going to be really easy to fling the weight around. So you want to make sure you have the appropriate weight, number 1, and then when you do the bicep curl, I always try to keep a tempo in my head. So that would be something like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, okay? So my release should be slower than the up motion, okay? Bent over rows. So I can't remember if we did single arm rows in week 1 or not, but bent over rows, we are going to be in our bent over position. I feel like I did talk about this position, but this is the one that's similar to your deadlift or your swing hinge position where you're kind of like this. So your butt goes back to the wall, your back bends slightly forward. This is your bent over position, okay? So we're gonna be doing bent over rows. So rows are when you just pull back with your shoulder blades and the weights come up on your side, okay? This is what it looks like from the side. Pull, release, pull, release. Okay, so notice how straight my back is. I'm not like this, okay? And I also don't jerk. A lot of times people do that, especially in the gym if they're using too heavy of weight, they do the jerk. So you wanna make sure your back is straight, everything stays nice and still, squeeze those shoulder blades back, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Notice my feet are pretty close together. They're not touching, but they're very close together. And when you pull back, you want to make sure that you are using your shoulders so that when you pull back, it should kind of come to like your hip. So basically the bottom of my dumbbell's on my hip, the top is on my boob. That's pretty much where I am, okay? So make sure you're not pulling upward or anything like that. You want to pull kind of diagonal back. And you also want to make sure that you don't open up your chest when you pull. So you don't want to turn as you pull, which I mean, it's kind of hard when you're doing both at the same time. But anyways, now we have our W curls. So this is just a variation of your bicep curls. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start palms up and the weights are kind of diagonal out. So they're not here, they're kind of diagonal, okay? So what we're doing is we're making a W with our dumbbell, body, dumbbell. So when we come up, we're here, okay? So W, okay? We're here, we release here. So we stay kind of with our elbows to our sides. And when we curl, we are curling kind of diagonal forward, okay? So notice how I'm not curling in front, I'm on a diagonal, okay? So W, down, W, down, okay? And again, try to have a nice, slow, and controlled release. And then reverse flies. We're gonna be in that bent over position again. And these are the opposite of chest fly. So chest fly is here, reverse fly is opposite, okay? So you're in your bent over position, the weights are in front of you, and you're going to lift up to your sides, release. Lift up to the side, release. So notice that I don't go flying way up here. I'm right here, kind of level, release, here. So with this one, you should be feeling it in your shoulder blades, but also in your traps, which is kind of this area right underneath your neck, which is usually the area that is sore. Like if you're looking for a massage and they do that part, it feels really good. Those are your traps. So that's what you're using when you do this one. So now that you know that, when you do this, you want to think about engaging that muscle, and that's gonna actually help stop you from flying up too high, okay? So if I'm not trying to engage anything specifically, and I do it, my arms are gonna go way up here, okay? The minute that I know, okay, I need to be using my shoulder blades, I need to be using my traps, and I squeeze them, look how it stops right there, okay? It doesn't let me fly up because I'm properly engaging the muscles that I'm supposed to be using, okay? So I've seen a lot of different tricks on like the internet where they say do it this way so you don't go too high or hold it a different way. I don't think you have to hold it a different way. I think you just need to be more aware of what muscles that you're trying to use, okay? So if you don't feel it or you do notice that you're going way up high, you're not engaging the proper muscles. Now, part 2 is shoulder taps 4 reps. So you're going to pick between 50 and 100 how many you want to do. So the way it's counted is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because we are alternating as we do it. So shoulder tap is done in high plank position, can also be done kneeling, can also be done off of a chair. So you're going to get into your high plank position and you're going to release your hand and tap the opposite shoulder, back down. Do the same thing on the other side. Tap, 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 and you're just gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until you get to 100. If you're on your knees, it's just gonna look the same, just on your knee. Off of a height, you can either do kneeling height or you can do high plank height. Most of us should be able to do high plank height, okay? So the only tips with this one is you wanna make sure that your whole body is not rocking. So because we are releasing and at some points we're only on one hand, your body weight is going to shift. But there's a difference between shifting and rocking, okay? So if I'm in high plank position, I'm gonna open up my legs a little bit wider than normal so I have a sturdier base, and when I lift, I'm gonna kind of squeeze my butt cheeks and make sure I'm keeping everything tight, okay? I don't wanna do this. Nobody should be rocking. Your chest shouldn't be opening up. Your feet shouldn't be moving all around. Everything should be nice and tight. If that is too difficult in high plank position, drop down to kneeling, okay? Or you can try high plank off of a height, all right? So that is Monday.